Hi all. This morning on GMB, Rory Stewart was on talking about Boris Johnson's lies and just the fact that he has so many lies, that he has lied to his wives, that he has lied to his bosses before. And as he was talking about this, the interviewer said, "Go on, name one." And he ignored that and kept talking. And then when he finished, his opponent, Peter Bone MP, said, "Ha, you asked him to name a lie and he couldn't name a single one." And then the conversation developed. So I thought I'd chip in with a few lies. Of course, there are so many, it's hard to know which ones to pick. Peter Oborne has got a website called Boris Johnson Lies, which has dozens to hundreds of them, because there are, of course, lies in Parliament as well, like Peter Stefanovic's video has documented. But given that Boris Johnson has been accused of lying yet again today over the Afghanistan evacuation, and he answered to that, "That's rhubarb," that made me think, why don't I just do a little subsection of Boris Johnson lies about food? Because there are so many categories of Boris Johnson lies. So here's half a dozen Boris Johnson lies about food. Number one, pink sausages. Back in the 1980s, when Boris Johnson was the Brussels person for the Telegraph, he wrote an article headlining "Threat to British Pink Sausages," saying how the EU was going to axe British pink sausages. Of course, it never did. It was a complete lie. Food lie number two, prawn cocktail crisps. In 2002, Boris Johnson wrote another article for the Telegraph where he said that the EU was just about to ban British prawn cocktail crisps. As it happened, it was a complete lie. The problem had been that the UK government had not added that on a list, prawn cocktail flavour, to a list that they sent to the EU. But that didn't stop Boris Johnson making a grand old lie out of it and talking about what the EU was going to ban. Number three, food lie, or food-related lie, rice pudding. In October 2020, Boris Johnson was talking about wind power, and he said, "I remember 20 years ago when journalists were sneering at wind power, sneering at it, saying that it couldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding. Well, they were wrong. They forgot that wind power helped take Drake and Raleigh and all of our great explorers across the oceans. That's the power of wind." People thought, that's a bizarre phrase. Who would say wind power couldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding? Well, it was Boris Johnson himself, not 20 years ago, but 7 years ago, attacking wind power because he himself was a climate skeptic. And he was saying, Labour put in wind farms that couldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding. Let's look at shale gas. Just 7 years ago. Okay, number four, food lie number four, bananas. In May 2016, Boris Johnson stood in front of his 350 million for the NHS bus and said that the EU has stopped us selling bananas in bunches of more than 2 or 3. He said that straight to the audience there, even though we all buy bananas all the time in bunches of more than 2 and 3. But he said that in front of that other lie behind him. And also he then went on to say his other lie, which was, when we get out of the EU, we will have 600 million more a week for businesses by removing red tape. That was another promise that he made there. Okay, that was lie number four about bananas. Interestingly, the other lie about bananas, which is the EU has banned curved bananas, and this is something that was from The Sun, The Mail, The Express. They all published that at the same time back in 1994. And then The Sun thought it was so good that despite everyone buying curved bananas all the time, they thought they'd bring it back again in 1998. So it wasn't just Boris Johnson, but he sure as hell helped fuel all these Euro myths about food. Okay, moving on to number five, kippers. Food lie number five, kippers. On July 17th, 2019, during the Tory leadership contest, Boris Johnson reached beneath a podium and held aloft a smoked kipper. And he said that this had been sent to him by furious people that wanted him to tell the audience that because of EU rules, they had to send these kippers on a little pillow of ice in order to move it from destination to destination. That's ridiculous EU bureaucracy. When we leave the EU, we can tear that up. Actually, it turns out that that wasn't EU rules at all. That was UK Food Standard Agency rules, which said when you transport food, it must be fit to eat, and that may sometimes require putting the food in a cool bag or using a similar cooling system. So now let's move on to the final one that I've got for you. Food lie number 6, pork pies. And I just thought that was a poetic ending, right? Porky pies, lies, right? Okay. In August 2019, Boris Johnson announced that Melton Mowbray pork pies sold in Thailand and Iceland could not get into the US because there were FDA barriers to it. Well, the Melton Mowbray Pork Pie Association was interviewed on the Today programme, and they said straight up, no, there are no pork pies sent to Thailand or Iceland at all. And after further digging, it was found that with regard to the US, there wasn't a blockage on UK pork pies. We just don't send them there because there's a lot of complicated paperwork. So that's it. I mean, if you want to see a much more comprehensive set of lies from, 40 hospitals to fastest growth in G7 and all this kind of stuff, then please do look up Peter Oborne's borisjohnsonlies.com. Just go and Google that and you'll find it. Thanks very much. And maybe if I'm in the mood and can stomach it, I'll do some other categories of Boris Johnson lies at some point.